What is up, everybody? My name is Richard Terrell. I go by Kirby Kid, and you are watching a random showcase recording of a feature that I made in enLIGHTen. This is a puzzle game that I created. You're too loud, audio. This is a puzzle game that I created a while ago, and it's a puzzle game in which you learn the art of learning. So you play the game, you learn how you learn. It's got lectures, it's got all kinds of features to kind of help you go from zero to hero. I've talked about it, I've made tons of videos about it, I have a website about it, I've written about it. This is just one feature, the last major feature that I made for the game. And I made this feature in 2019. Yeah, so I realized I didn't have any good videos on it, so I'm about to show you now. enLIGHTen, here it is, the main menu. You go over here, and you got these tools on the side. Stop that. Stop. You got these tools on the side here, and some do very simple things like keeping track of where you click. Reset. Some do more complicated things like showing you where the hidden shapes are within your... There. I wonder why that's not working. Doesn't matter. Some are bring up the relevant notes, so if you take notes about a certain thing. I actually don't know what file this is. My thoughts. Oh, this is reading the gold. That's fine for now. So some tools, which we'll visit that later, some tools, yeah, it won't work for this thing, so cool. But one of the tools that I made is called the method maker, and I wanted to give people the ability to make strategies, algorithms, you know, get the methods that they use to solve puzzles into the game so they can see themselves thinking, tweak it, share it, do all kinds of cool stuff. So essentially what you can see here on the left is the game maker script file zone thingy, which I can expand for you just a little bit. UI bad. So there is one, my organization is really bad. Puzzle, shape to shape, connect, log, parse, next buttons, simple code, multiverse branch, friend compatibility, unlock, sprite position, next buttons, Bezier, find hashtags, prevent instant match. I have one for, let me just do like a search for switch. Let's look for the number 47, okay? Now, the number 47 is not too popular, so I should be able to find it in a script that I'm looking for. Yeah, here we go. This is an odd way of me searching through my own scripts, but method shaker, okay, right here. So I used to have all this code, I commented it out and what do you call it, refactored it into something like this. And this alarm goes off, it does all this stuff. I got the second alarm that goes off, and I got the brains of the operation, which does all this stuff. But the cool part is, now that you can see it a little better, is, let me... I got a list of different scripts all kind of organized in this weird way. And one of them, the first one is like target cell at random. So I essentially created this system where using the UI that I built and all this other crazy stuff that I built, you can go in here and you can say, I want to make a new method. You say, yeah. And then it's really, really bad UI, but we'll call this stream test. And then we'll give a description, testing for stream. We'll save it. Cool. Now that we saved it, we can like exit it, go back, and they're right here. Stream test, testing for stream, right? And you can edit it, you can run it, you can delete it. So let's edit it. You go over here. The first thing you have to do is add a node. On the very first node you do specifies the goal that you're trying to achieve with this algorithm. Something is looking out for. So I have a dynamic list popped up here of all. Let's hope it doesn't crash when I get to the bottom. Cool. So this version doesn't crash when I get to the bottom, but 49 different commands. And you can see them all listed here on the left side in my script. It goes all the way down to 53 or whatever, but I stopped at a 49 or so. And each of these are different, but in terms of selecting the first one for your method to figure out what you're solving for, I grayed out a bunch of them dynamically so that you can only scan for a known pattern. You can scan for hidden patterns. You can check the cell state, so if it's lit or unlit of a specific cell. You can find a custom pattern, which is insane UI I made for that. It's nuts. I don't know why I did that. If it's symmetrical or not, is a puzzle solved. So this is a common one. You can just click that. So like goal, if the puzzle is solved, cool. So now you can save it again. Doesn't matter. Edit it, boom. If puzzle solved. Now we add a node, right? And this is where the full list of options really comes into handy, right? So you got all these options here that you can make your own and specify your own sort of methodology using the visual scripting. And it reads from top to bottom. It has indenting and if statements and branches and conditionals and all that. And I built all this from scratch, right? So it's essentially, you know, it follows the logic top to bottom. You have each of these commands that can pass in a number of variables. I can click this one here. You can kind of see it in the top left. It says 3 parameters. One is a real number. The others are just 2 arguments. Check to see if the grid has a known pattern. And it looks for a certain variable called current shape. And if it's not -1, that means it's a specific pattern index. And that means I know it's a pattern. And I broke down all my code blocks into 2 chunks. One where it's like calculate, run the logic. And the other one is execute the logic in the grid. So in this case, let me go to what is puzzle is solved. So let me go back. Solved. Solve. Right there. Evaluate. Wait. No. What number is this? Goal if puzzle is solved. Let's type in solve. 48. Okay, so we go over here in this list. We go to 48. Great. Documentation's all messed up. Let's pick something else then. Let's say we're going to target a cell at random. Boom, we click it, it appears here in the list, right? It's got the number 1. We can click that. It opens up a specific dialog box. Target cell at random. Identify a single cell based on pure randomness or picks a click out of the click bag. So you can, here's all your contextual conditions, like either pure random or bag. Pure or bag, right? So let's just do pure. Ignore the click limiter. I think this is like Boolean, so true or false. Indent, no, so whatever. We're just going to do that and click this to save. And save. Here. So that's like a single step method here, and we can run it right here. So here it looks the same, but this is the run scene, the run view, and you can set the speed to run it, which will slow it down, and we'll cycle it 3 times. And here's the play button, which is not even a button, it's just the gray space. So you can see it ran 3 times, and every time the goal is not met, which is the puzzle solved. Well, I guess the puzzle should be solved like that. But anyway, every time it ran this, it targeted a cell at random. You can see the little purple target like moving around. And I can click it once here in the lineup to run that specific logic on the field. So if I want to just see what this step does over and over, like target cell random at cell 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it again. Cell 1, 0, 1, cool. Again, 9. And it's showing me what this logic does in the board without even affecting the board. I mean, all it's doing is shifting its target. So we know that works. Let's go back. Method shaker, edit, click. Now we're like, after you target a cell, let's add a node and say click. Let's just type in target. Apply, click. So apply click makes a click in the grid according to the current targeted cell. If the target falls outside the 5x5, no grid will be made. Click target, yes. Ignore click limiter, pull from bag if applicable, and blah blah. So like, let's just keep everything default and see if it even freaking works. Save, go out, we're gonna run it. So now if we run it, we're gonna cycle it one time, and we're gonna go, cool. It decided to cycle itself 3 times anyway, whatever. But you can see some stuff starting to happen, right? Every time it hits the logic on the left side, it shows you highlighted what step it is. And every time that step's logic gets executed without actually changing the board, those are those 2 states I told you about. It runs the logic and then executes the action. It runs the logic, executes the action. You can see a purple line kind of showing you what the logic is, and then you can see the board change to execute the action. So in this case, random cell applies the click. Random cell applies the click. We can cycle this more times, and we can make it much faster. I don't even know what this button is doing. That's cool. Let's run it. And let's give it this speed. Let's see what happens. It's like the speed's not even working, but you can ignore that for now. So that's cool. Like, now you can see what a board looks like if you target a cell randomly like this. Boop. It's going to be top right one, and then you apply the click. And then it's like, cool, I'll apply the click. And it's like, target a cell randomly, apply the click. And you can do it manually, step by step, or you can just let the system run. So that's the basic aspect of this method maker working. You think out loud, or you use common language in order to develop your strategies, and then you put it into the machine so the machine can run them really fast and kind of show you what the outcomes are. Something to keep a note that there are 5 mini grids up here. Really bad UI, overlapping junk, whatever. This right grid is the heat map for... There are 2 different types of heat maps. One's for lights and one's for clicks. So if I click here, I can still play the board at any time.
I don't know if it's just Discord, but I don't think the game's capturing right now.
You don't think what's capturing?
The game, if you're in game, I just see code, but it could be Discord.
Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. I shared this wrong. Oh yeah, because it's not even on the same screen. Let me do this for you. All you need to see is the game screen anyway. So change windows. This, cool.
There you go.
Yeah, so logic randomly jumps around here and applies it, or I can just start playing myself. And I like it when you work back and forth with the computers, because that's what creates the strongest results. Powerful tools, clever people working together for maximizing both of their strengths. So we just made a random method that targets a cell and applies a click. It's about as random as it gets. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but this is really powerful. You could basically go into reset any situation and be like, well, I just want to give myself a new random puzzle that's hard. And you just like run the script. Wait a bit. Let's get the speed down. It's like not affecting the speed at all. It makes me sad. It used to go like super fast, but that's okay. And then cool, like now you have yourself a random puzzle, right? And what's beautiful about this is it shows you the heat map of the clicks, I think. So if I basically click this, and this, like I could probably solve it. But you can exit this anytime. It's just a tool. You can go to your click keeper, and this is what the clicks were, right? This tool is also running in the background. You can go to hidden shapes and see what the hidden shapes are, or your relevant nodes, or anything, right? Like at any time, you can overlap this tool with any of the others. So this is the solution, and I was going to click this to try to get to the solution. So clearly that didn't work. But again, all the tools are concurrent, so I can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, get back to the state I was, and then I can just try the solution they gave me. Right? Or I can go back at any point and say, like, from this position, what if we ran method, run it, let's run the cycle twice, and scramble it from here. And then cool, like now I can run it from here. So using this tool, it's a dynamic tool, it's an active tool, and the logic here can be as complicated as you want. One of the goals was I wanted to give people the ability to think about solving these puzzles in any way that they wanted, and access to the ability to make a method that does it for them, using common everyday speech. So let's go back into method shaker and let's play around with this. Edit. Now instead of targeting a cell at random, let's play with this. We're gonna pull it from the bag, right? And exit and save, and go back to the run it mode. Okay, so now it's gonna pull it from the bag every time. So if we reset and run this cycle like 5 times, 7 times or whatever, you'll see one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, cool. And then click keeper. Let's see, did it even do it? Run. We'll try it again. Do this. Edit this. Ignore click limiter. No. Apply click. Click target. It's going to be the target that it targets. Ignore limiter. Pull from bag if applicable. Boolean. Sure. We'll click that, and then this should be target cell from bag. And we'll say ignore click limiter and see what happens. Run it. Okay, so it's working. So you notice it did 5 clicks, and this first one started to chip away. This is the bag of clicks, right? This represents that if you click every cell once, every cell is represented here, and when it's clicked, it turns black. So if you tell it only pull from clicks that are from the bag, it's only going to pull options from the ones that haven't been clicked. And what's cool about this is it keeps its own stats. So if I go in and I click around, it's not going to interrupt this. So even if I up the cycles a lot and run it again, even from this state, right, I can do this. Oh, it just reset. That's cool. But even if you run it 13 clicks, it's never going to duplicate, and eventually it's going to click every cell if you do it up to 25. Right? So let's try that. 25 and run it. Because we know when you play this game, if you make a click on the same cell, it's redundant. So there's really not a lot of real reason to do that. So that's why I have this bag random here. It's doing it. It's never going to duplicate unless it runs out of options. Yeah, and it just won't do it, right? The target's like there's nothing left. I have to pull from the bag There's nothing left. This is the shape you get if you click every single cell once, which looks kind of funky. It shouldn't look like that, but let's back up and see what my starting position was. My starting position was, oh, so this is turn 47. Minus 25 is 20. What's the math? 22. So you can go to turn 22. And this is what my starting condition was, right? Right around here. Turn 22 or something. I'm like, oh, okay. So if I compare this turn with the last turn, which, oh, there used to be a little preview. Yeah, but I can click the click keeper and figure out that to get out of this one, I just click a corner, a slash on the corner, and a slash in this part. So I'm going to go back to the end. And then I'm going to click the corner, slash in the corner, and a slash in the top part. Oh, that almost did every single click. Ah, there it is. Cool. So this is the shape that you get if you click every single cell in the grid. And everything's consistent with the method that was run. We could scrub the timeline and be like, huh, what happens if we go back to the starting point, the ending point, the logic was all there, and then the results are all consistent no matter how many tools you switch between. This invert shape is the shape you get when you click every single cell. Makes sense. So you might think, oh, that's kind of cool. You wasted a lot of time and nobody cares. Well, the real answer is nobody cared about it anyway, but there's a lot more cool things about it. So let's go to edit and start doing some real fun stuff. So target a cell at random, apply a click, target a cell at random, apply a click. That's cool and all, but let's say we want to add a condition and say, we want you to stop clicking when there is more than 10 lights in the field. So let's just say count, the word count, like everyone count lights, count the number of lights in the grid. Cool. Count lights. And then count lights, it's just going to count the lights and then spit out a number. So now we need to add a node and say if output. So if you say the words if, wait, the word if is too popular. Output. If output, right? So if this output from count the lights is the at least 10, then it's going to pass a true, right? And cool. And then we're going to add one more, add one node, and we're going to say play sound or feedback. What is it? Feedback node. Probably should have been like play sound. And we scroll down once, click on the feedback node and say, cool, let's pick sound effect number 2. Hopefully it works. We're only going to want to hear this sound effect when the lights are more than 10. So we can, I think what we do here is we go here and this, and we indent it like that and exit. And now you can see that even though this is bad UI, this feedback node is slightly indented. So this will only play if the previous one is true. And if output is greater than 10, that's what makes it true. And it's going to do it after it counts the lights. So now we just created a method that will keep running and start making noise when the lights get complicated enough. So let's test it. Run it. Let's do more cycles. And it's going to do bag random too. So we're going to have a high probability of no redundant. We're going to have no redundant clicks. So let's try it. And it's telling, as you can see the logic in the corner, like what the numbers are as it goes. What did I do? That's definitely more than 10, so let's... Okay. So, like, okay, what happened to the script? I thought you said it would work, Richard. I wasted all this time watching the stream, and you said something cool would happen. Let's check it out. Target a cell at random. That seems to work. Apply the click. We already know that one works. I'm not going to do it right now. Count the lights. Let's click it. 15. It tells you what it's thinking. So 15 lights. Cool. If output, we click it, and nothing happens. And the feedback should sound like this if it works. Okay. You can. I'll turn it up so you can hear it too a little bit. Very soft. So you're like, okay, something happened with the if output because the lights are clearly outputting 15, and if output should definitely be going 15. So all we have to do is go to edit, click it, go to if output, and maybe we indent this one too. Maximum, let's just put a min and max 25. Oh, if go to such a crazy system. So I have a system here where it's like, if you want this when true to jump back up the script, you can specify how many nodes to jump back up. Otherwise, it's gonna go down one and keep going there. So let's see if just changing it from 10 to 25 works. X that, save method. Click this, click this, click this, click this, run it. And let's just add some more lights here. So count lights, 14. If output, let's run a cycle. Okay. So it wasn't the numbers. I think I have to do this, indent it. Let's just see. And play it once. The lights. If output, feedback. So edit. Count the lights is working. If node. If go to nodes for back. So let's just say go back to, I think I need to put -1 in order for it to go forward. I'm not sure. But let's try this. I need a simpler test. Count the lights. Param 1. -1. It can't be negative. Let me see. Add node. Apply click. Adjust target relative. Punch out pattern. Scan for hidden powers, rewind turns, rewind to anchor, target coolest cell. This is the trickiest part because I forgot target cell at random, apply click, count the lights. It's doing all that. So like, and it looks like it's not skipping over these. Let's just indent that one and see what happens. So I used to be able to run it like straight from here and just like test it. The UI got tricky, so now I just go back and run it from here. So it would be making noise if it were properly running the feedback node. That means it's not getting the confirmation. So I really do think it's on the if output. Count lights doesn't need to be this. If output, what? It's just 15, 0. False true. 1. Count lights, 17, if output. Probably too many of these things then. Just do it 5. Cool, save this. It's a puzzle solved. Let's try a new one. Test 2. You need a different goal. Save. Add node. We just want the goal to be check cell state. We want unlit or lit. We want to check if current target. Now we want to check if this cell right here in the bottom, any of the corners, if any of the corners are lit, that's going to be the condition to stop this whole shenanigan. Then we do this. We save. That's the goal. Then we just need to add a node and say, oh, I didn't like that as a goal. Fine. Check if puzzle solved. And we'll delete this one and add a node. If count turns, to count the number of turns from the current turn to the start anchor or previous. So from the start, we want to count the turns. That's it. Then we say if output for this one is this, if the number of turns is at least 5, then we want to add a node, and we want to feedback, pick a different number, and we're going to indent this. We're going to add a node and say evaluates, find the densest area, indent. We're going to find the densest quadrant. Light rows per minimum, weight, whatever. Right now this needs to be 1, not 2. Let's see if that saves properly. If puzzle solved, do nothing. Count the number of turns from the start. If the number of turns is at least 5, then play some sounds and evaluate the board. So if we go to Overwatch and we run test 2, we can, oh, not that, just click. Every click I make is running through the script, checking if it's solved, counting the turns, and checking the output. It's just I can't get the if output to work. Did I take a screenshot of it at some point? When I was at last Thanksgiving. So that was 2001, I think. 2021. And it was in November. Man, I might have to redo this whole recording. I remembered fiddling with it, and the if output was giving me issues. Until I figured out what I was doing wrong. Maybe we'll do the max of 5 and see what happens. Stop doing the Overwatch. So if I run it, this is not even making clicks in the grid. It's just checking to see if the puzzle's solved and counting the turns. So if I up the turns and I do another cycle. So something weird happened. But, oh, okay. We created this custom goal that said check the cell state. And if you remember correctly, what it was is if all 4 corners are lit up, and I'm randomly clicking along, and then it verified it and stopped the sequence of logic going because the goal was reached, and just because I randomly happened to click all 4 corners. So we know the goal is working, and we know that the custom checker is working. So let's take out the corner and run it. count turns. Should be on well over turn 5, yeah. Count turns. If output, feedback note. Is puzzle solved? No. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool though that... So at least I can show a little bit of what the Overwatch system does. So with the scripting system, you can make... Get off the screen. You can make your own logic that looks over your own shoulder. That's what we call it, Overwatch. And does things to help you. It looks out for things to help you play better. So in this case, every turn I click, run it, it's basically gonna check if all 4 corners are lit. So I could completely ignore it, and I'm just like playing around, and I don't even have to pay attention to it. But as soon as I fulfill the condition that it's at, it should have. Or does it not do the goal when it's in Overwatch? That's annoying. Because if I run this... Stream test, if puzzle solved, I want to delete this one, and it deletes everything, but when I add a node, it's going to redo the goal. So we're going to say check cell state. We're going to customize it to be 4 corners again, lit or unlit, lit, and save it. And then all the rest come back. So now we changed out the goal. It's gonna keep randomly clicking until the goal is met. So at least we can test that. Save, reset, run it, cycle, and then just oh no. Now there's very little chance of it actually working. Not actually, it's a high chance of it working. With 22 clicks and no click being redundant, it's gonna get closer and closer to that invert shape. And that actually fulfills the condition. Oh, okay, we only have one. It did it! Wow. Wow, there was a small chance that it was, I guess like a 50-50 chance it would succeed, but it actually randomly clicked on this last cell to fill it in, fulfilled the condition that we customized, and stopped the process. So, yeah, it works. I just got to figure out what I need to do to get the if output to work. Why? Let's, that was fun though, so... This, new method, we're just gonna say check cell state po. Test 3. And then we're gonna have the solved, just to make a basic one, save it, add a node, check cell state. Check cell state here. We're going to specify if this top left one is lit. That's all we care about. And then we're going to make another mode, add another node, say if output. If output is true, then we're going to add a node, feedback. We're going to do feedback 2. And we're going to make this indented. Hey, what's up? Oh, I was muted that whole time, but that's okay. The stream recording could still hear me. Save feedback. Check the cell state. If output, give the feedback. Save. My menus don't close. Overwatch. Run it. Where did it go? Why are there two check cell statos? Overwatch. Why are there two? Oh well. So every click, it's evaluating whether that's true, and then it's true now, so it should make that sound. And I can even scan the whole history of what I did to check for that condition. It just needs to make sounds every time that's true. Man. But that was another cool feature where you can make methods and play the game however you want. And anytime you're like, wait a minute, like, does this turn fulfill the condition? You can either just like click and unclick the turn to check, or you can, if you want to check the entire history of what you did, you just scan the whole history and it just looks for that condition. So mystery has not been solved yet. This one is false. If puzzle solved, check the cell state. If output, what am I missing? Check cell state. Maybe, what is check cell state output? Like true or false? So, if go to nodes for back, you can't put -1 in. Or maybe this has to be 0. If it'll put. Oh, there it goes. stop. So now if output, count the lights, if output 12, apply the click, and it plays the feedback properly. So what was this? If the lights are 5 max, maybe I'm getting my mins and max mixed up. It's supposed to be a minimum of 5. And only if this is true is it supposed to go -1 and skip down into the indented section. And only if this is true? Okay. Only if this is true. I think it was 0. It's supposed to. Maybe the max is like it's looking for. It can only be true if it's lower than 10. So I just changed one thing there. Save method. A 6, 8, 11, 12. So that didn't matter. I already did this one. Fourteen, 15, 16. Maybe you need a min and a max. Okay, so whatever I changed, it's not evaluating as true, so it's not playing the sound at all. So it never evaluated as true. The number of lights were never between 7 and 10. It's 8. So having both min and max likes to screw it up. Can we just get a true or false?
Are you currently like editing the game code like within the game?
Yeah, this is a visual scripting system I made. I'm gonna add a note that says check cell state, and then I'm going to just check to see if this middle one is lit, and if true, that, and if that's true, we're going to exit, end. I don't think I have an end or an exit. Feedback, but we're gonna get a different sound. This one is 2, so this one should be 3. Okay, so now if oops, I have to add a if output node. Here, and then I gotta change its position. I'll save it. I'll change its position from position 8 to position 7. I'll save it, and then I'll go to position 7. I'll say if you are true, go to node -1. And so that should be reset, run it. Try again. So it should sound like that if it succeeded, or that. So if anything, they should have the opposite effect. Okay. It's like I'm putting the if outputs. So that one didn't trigger at all. But they work. Check cell state. Oh, this is bad. This should be 0. If output check cell state 0. Maybe I need something filled in for. Maybe it just doesn't do a good job. True. Minimum 0, maximum 25. So it's letting it through now. It's letting it through now because I widened the min and max so that I think it's trying to evaluate all 3 of these. And since I widened the min and max, and well, this one should still. This one's probably overriding it. So let's make this. It's got to be between 0 and 12. So you shouldn't hear a sound effect until there's more than 12, or if there's more than 12 lights on the field. 3, 6, 9. That's 10, 11. That's back to 8. We can check just by count the lights. 11. Okay. We'll just do that and run it. 12. It's exactly 12. 9.
Sorry.
Well, it confirmed the cell state because all the corners are lit. That's not what I wanted. And it solved itself again. Okay. So we can run it again with higher speed. You're not supposed to be making noise. Oh yeah, you are supposed to be making noise if it's below 12. You weren't supposed to be making noise before. 17. Then you don't make any sense. Do I have a clear output? I don't think I do. No. have a node to manipulate the output, and that's manipulate a node to manipulate add, multiply, divide, mod, div, mod, subtract the number by some value. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what the output is. Delete. Add node. Maybe it's just like true. Check. Check cells to find custom pattern. If apply click, adjust target relative punch out pattern, punch in pattern, apply multiple clicks, scan, rewind turn, method switch, that's insane. Breakpoint, modify, light limiter, breakpoint. Nope. Like a break function that can be applied to a node, but individual to this node can display specific information. Yeah, I don't think that even works. Oh well. I'll have to figure that out and then just do a new recording. But that's okay.